right, so tell me how this goes, Murray. You're waiting at a Wawa, and
No,
you're waiting.
no,
You got a
I'm
number.
working. I'm working. I don't care anymore. I'm working. I'm a delivery guy. Okay, it's what I do. I deliver shit. I deliver something to this car dealership, and in the middle of the parking lot, you know how big car dealership parking lots are. The middle of the car dealership parking lot, there's a guy. He's wearing long sleeves, long pants. It's 68 degrees outside. He's got knee pads on over his sweatpants, and he's sitting in a lawn chair, again, in the middle of a parking lot. So I got to pull up, and I pretty much get the bumper right up on him because that's where I got to deliver to. And I get out, and I'm like, hey, how you doing? It takes him a second. I deliver. I come back. He's like, whew, it's a disaster out here, huh? And I thought he was being ironic about the weather. I was like, yeah, pretty terrible weather we're having. I'll see you later. He's like, no, I'm talking about the economy. Like, I actually looked over my shoulder to see if he was speaking to someone else. Like, oh, you're addressing me with this economy bullshit in the middle of a parking lot while you sit in a fucking lawn chair? I just said, nah, I think it'll come back pretty quick. People own their houses now. It's not like 2008. He's like, yeah, but they're going to be making us wear masks again soon, aren't they? I don't think so, champ. I got to go. And I just got in the fucking truck and just rolled the fuck out of Dodge. And this is what happens when you attempt to answer that fucking simple question. Hey, how you doing? There's two acceptable answers. I'm fine. Good. Or, hey, how are you? That's it. There's no other response that's needed or necessary. You're not allowed to burden me with your insane thoughts that go on inside your fucking head in the middle of a car dealership parking lot, apparently with your mobile lawn chair that you carry with you everywhere you go so you can sit down and take a breath in this disastrous world in which we're plagued with.
So he wasn't a salesman? He wasn't an employee.
I have no idea what this person was.
At first, like,
insane man.
Lawn chair in the middle of the parking lot. I thought, hey, like salesman at work. And then you described his attire, and I was like, oh,
still possible salesman. Don't know what kind of car dealership it was,
right?
With the attire, but as a salesman, a lead in with a bad economy is probably a bad way to get somebody to buy something that requires financing. For most of the population,
right? This isn't the general.
That was a dead give. That was a dead giveaway. He wasn't a sales guy.
When he brought up the bad economy, Murray, you could have said like, "Oh yeah, of course it's a bad economy," or something to the tune of like, "Oh yeah, figures you got those knee pads on for blowies that you're giving for $40 a pop."
I was just trying to vacate the situation as quick as humanly possible. It just reminds me, especially because I'm in contact with what we like to call the general public. You got to remember the general public's IQ is somewhere down here and also somewhere up here. And you don't realize how much pure insanity exists in the world until you run into a guy in a parking lot who wants to drum up a conversation about both the dumpster fire that is the American economy right now and equally the dumpster fire that is the American global health system currently. What are you supposed to do? What do you do in that situation? Wes, I'll ask you, how would you have handled this?
Man, it's weird because it depends upon how much of a conversationalist this guy was. Because if he was willing to listen to me at least a little bit, I probably just would have been like, you know what, I'm going to enjoy this for a hot minute. Now, if it's one of those things where like he let me get a sentence out and then just basically, hey, I didn't ask you the question in order to answer it per se. I asked us in order for me to answer my own question. If it was going to go that way, I would have been like, all right, buddy, I gotta get out of here. I came here to buy a car and I ran into some quasi fucking Ernest P. World chilling on a fucking lawn chair. See you later. I wouldn't say that, but that's kind of how I would handle it. I don't know. Maybe it seemed like you ran into a little bit of a gold mine to entertain yourself at least for 5 minutes in the middle of the day.
Yeah. My drawback on engaging in those situations is I'm in uniform. Mm-hmm. So I've realized that okay, I remember one time I was driving the radio station van and I got caught picking my nose. And I'm like, I got caught picking my nose at a red light. And I'm like, oh, in your car, you're anonymous. They don't, you get caught like, oopsie, I'm just a bald guy with a beard with my finger in my nose. You get caught in a van with flames on the side that has lettering that establishes the radio station that you work for. It narrows it down pretty quickly to who you actually are and where your finger was. So when I'm working, I know they know where I work, so I can't get too aggravated. I can't get too pissy with them. I can't tell them off. And so I feel really pigeonholed. So my out is, oh, I'm running behind. I got to get on the way. Because otherwise I'm going to engage, and I can't help myself.
Right.
And I'm going to explain the global economy, and I don't have time for that for this guy.
It's like one of those deals, like, how's my driving? Yours is like, how's my customer service and conversation skills? You know, and if you were to piss this guy off, be like, oh, I think he was driving truck such and such. He stopped and talked to me. I mean, I was hanging out in the middle of the parking lot, minding my business at an establishment, a business that I'm not employed by, nor was I doing any shopping or potential buying. I was hanging out.
Well, and let me ask you this.
He was loitering.
I know, but you know how it goes, man. You can't. Compliments get just brushed aside, but complaints, they get brought front and center.
Sure.
That's when you get interrogated. It doesn't matter what kind of methamphetamine this human being was all hopped up on or not.
Yeah.
It seemed like he was on something a little slower than that.
You'd be shocked not only at just city law, as for instance, the one that I currently live in, the one that Alan used to live in, but state laws about squatters' rights. You know, squatters have rights, apparently. You squat in a house, the owner or whoever owns that building or that house, that apartment or whatever, has to give them so many days or whatever. I wouldn't be shocked if there's loiterers' rights. If loiterers have, a window in order to pick their shit up. They don't have to vacate right away.
Right.
They get a half an hour to kind of, fold the chair up and see if I can squeeze out one more conversation with another passerby or potential someone who's going to buy a Cutlass Sierra today.
It's no wonder he's so fucking tired. He's lugging a chair all around town all day. It's kind of like chicken and the egg. Well, maybe if you didn't carry this chair with you everywhere, you wouldn't have to sit down so often. But Alan, he did ask me about the masks. Am I wrong? Am I wrong in saying that as soon as someone even questions you about the mask, they're automatically anti-mask and you should not engage?
No, yeah, I think at this point, anybody who brings masks up is going to be staunchly anti-mask. Like, yeah. I think anyone who still wears one situationally doesn't go around being like, "Hey, so almost mask season." You know what I mean? To a stranger who pulls into the empty parking lot that I'm sitting in. Yeah, I think that's a safe assumption.
Yeah. There's certainly. I agree with Alan. The mask wearers aren't provoking conversations of pro-mask or upcoming pending masks. I can't wait till we get more masks on. Let me tell you, it's going to get colder around here.
If anything, at this point, I think the maskers feel like a little bit of guilt because the rest of America's like, "Fuck you wearing a mask for?" It's just kind of how it goes now.
Yeah, I saw one. I was at an open house this past weekend. A couple of them actually, and and they were wearing the duck-billed ones. The ones not the kind of normal roundabout ones, the ones that
with the hinge.
Yeah, that create the duck bill, and I was like, damn, that's real deal. That's that's people spent some good money on those before there were vaccines.
That's the primo Asian stuff.
Yeah,
that's the stuff the Asians wear.
Right.
So, that's the stuff we all should have been wearing to make a difference from the start, but weren't available and probably weren't even manufactured yet. All the mask technology's finally caught up when no one needs to wear them really anymore. Right. I don't really get freaked out when I see old people wearing them because, I'm like, okay, you get a pass. You're trying to latch on to those last moments of life, and you ain't taking any chances. I get it, but when I don't know, there's a certain I'll say financial status that I find wear the masks more. If you're poor, if you're driving a fucking 98 Dodge Neon, you ain't wearing a mask. But if you're driving I don't know, a 2020 fucking Beamer, likelihood of you wearing a mask with some Louis Vuitton symbols on it is very high.
Yeah. If you're driving a Dodge Neon with historic tags, that's probably breaking a lot of environmental codes, including fucking huffing fucking shit in your car. Yeah. Don't worry about that.
Yeah.
Put that bandana on that you rocked around your head when you were listening to Tupac.
That's probably not indicative of any kind of like income inequality or anything like that. Health disparity. I'm sure that none of that is red flags for anything greater that could possibly be wrong in American society. I think it's okay.
Nope.
But I do want to know this. When we were younger, were there this many rando crazy folk out there? You know what I mean? I feel like when we were kids, like our parents would like grab us by the shoulder and be like, "Hey, listen, that's Jerry McGillicuddy. Back in '81, he stuck his tongue to the third rail of the Amtrak, and well, he's been a little loopy ever since. So just stay close."
I may be the wrong person to ask because I lived like less than a mile away from a veterans hospital. So they were kind of flocking around.
I was going to say, yeah, you guys had probably a good population, huh?
It depends upon if Murr came into town. Now, was this guy mentally handicapped in any way, or was he just chilling?
Well, he definitely wasn't driving. That's red flag number one, right?
Yeah. Maybe he lost his license or lost his car or both. I don't know.
Definitely asked a random person who was obviously working and in a hurry about the general disaster of society in the middle of an open parking lot. So that's number two.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, I'm going to go with the answer is yes. He checks at least two of my boxes, which kind of fills in the rest of them for me.
Yeah. I mean, were there this many? Or that, I mean, I don't know, when you say this many, I think you just had like a very unique situation today. So where you know, it was one person.
No, it's not. This is like a bi-daily occurrence for me. I'm saying like 4 times a week I'm interacting with like parking lot guy somewhere else and anywhere else. Just
Gotcha.
Name it. Throw a dart at a map and I will find you a crazy person that I will have to talk to.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I really don't know the answer to that. I would like to say no, but maybe it was just the fact that when you were younger, you weren't deemed approachable by crazy man. If you were a kid who was walking through that parking lot, he wouldn't have asked you about the shitty economy. He's like, this kid doesn't care. Or maybe the paranoia level's gone up. Maybe there are more crazy people. Maybe there's just our generation has grown old. They've gotten into their 40s and 50s, and they're like, "Oh man, I got to get the running pants and the knee protectors on."
Yeah, I think there's kind of two things that work here. I think you're right. I like your guys' generation, and maybe slightly older than you guys, is like reaching like, you know, like if you've abused alcohol this whole time, you might be going a little crazy. You know what I mean? Like things like that. Like you guys, like the 40 to 55 age group is starting to fucking really show its miles. And so, and they're generally like, they're a little bit more of a tech savvier, you know, a little more sociable demographic, I think. So you get, you know, like imagine if you were 5 years older and a fucking gin drunk and just never got off the Gilbies and stayed in your small town. You know what I mean? You'd sit in the parking lot in a lawn chair with some knee pads on and ask the mailman about fucking, you know, fucking whatever it is. The economy might happen today. You don't know.
Or the weather, or child support. I don't know.
Yeah,
I don't
anything.
know.
Any of those things. There's a number of options.
Yeah, you could.
I just assumed the conversation was about the weather because it always seems to be, and it took a dark. And this is the one time I wished it was about the weather. It's usually like, yep, it's a nice day outside. Hopefully it stays like this all week. Yeah, well, this economy's going to shit, though, ain't it? And
I got you. Go ahead.
No, what were you saying?
I was gonna say he got you because like the segue that you said was very much like it could have been weather related. He's like, there's a disaster out here. Well, hurricane's coming. Yeah. Good point, sir. Astute observation.
Tell that to the folks in Tampa.
Yeah. He's like, fucking housing market, interest rates, fucking through the roof. Whoa, all right, bud.
I think the only hurricane that this guy was aware of came in a 40-ounce glass bottle.
Yeah, good point. You could have told him like, hey, at least it isn't Mississippi, where where ex-quarterbacks are taking fucking what was it welfare money and building new facilities at his alma mater that his daughter happens to go to.
Now I feel like the crazy person because we're totally segueing into the Brett Favre story out of nowhere.
What do you mean out of nowhere? Because it's stealing money, bad economy.
Oh, good call. Now, did you read the whole story on Favre?
I've read. No, I mean, yes and no. I've read a couple news articles on it. I know that they've been pumping out stuff every day, but I did read that somewhere tied into this is the $1 Million Man Ted DiBiase's son, the one who didn't wrestle.
Wait, how many sons does he have?
Well, he had one, Ted DiBiase Jr., who also wrestled, and then I at the very least another. Now he very well may have more children. I don't know, but it was someone DiBiase, son of former WWF legend and Hall of Famer Ted DiBiase, who is, and the reason he ties into this, and I didn't know this, he's like a motivational speaker, but he ties in God. You know what I mean? It's not like, it's not like, hey, go out and get, find God, but it's like, God believes in you, this type of thing. But he's from Mississippi, and apparently he makes good money doing this. Now, not Tony Robbins money, but, he could, but it's Ted DiBiase. I might go pay to watch him fucking talk. Yeah. Hey, I would just say, hey, could you laugh for me?
Actually, I got to interview
Virgil
Ted DiBiase.
Oh, did you?
I got to interview him, but I wasn't allowed to ask any wrestling questions, which kind of made it like I didn't really get to interview him because I didn't get to interview the $1 Million Man. I got to interview the inspirational man behind the cloth, if you will. Gotcha. Yeah, he's totally like that whole, it's almost like AA, that's kind of what he's doing. He's like, I'm not telling you have to believe in God, but you got to believe in a power higher than yourself. And if you do that, blah, 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 you'll be working out of a van and giving Brett Favre welfare dollars.
I've been there before. When you find yourself in the middle of a car dealership with running pants and knee pads and a lawn chair on a 68-degree day, asking strangers about the economy, I know where you've been. You've been to Matt Foley town. So anyway, I thought that was an interesting caveat to the whole Brett Favre saga. For those who don't know, and it also ties. It was the then or current Mississippi governor. I think it was former. I don't think he's the governor anymore. Phil Bryant.
I mean, he's probably like a senator now. Like a congressman.
Who served as the 64th governor of Mississippi from 2012 to 2020. So yeah, the guy, it was like, I've read 9 million, I've read 5 million, but a text message that said, if you were to pay me, is there any way the media can find out where it came from and how much? Oof, man. I mean,
yep.
That's like, hey, I picked up the gun I picked up the gun, then I shot him in his face 4 times. And I buried it in my backyard.
You think they'll catch me? like, what the fuck? Like, I would have wrote back, yes, Brett, in 1883, you stupid fuck. Like, we're all going to jail now.
Yeah.
Hold on. So wait, that was an actual text message sent by Favre?
Yeah. Yeah, that was a text message sent by him to, and I don't know to whom. Doesn't say.
I don't think it matters.
No,
I don't think there's any other context where it matters. I didn't see that text message. I was fully prepared to defend Brett Favre as just being a dopey loon who wanted a whole bunch of like things created, and it's like, I don't know where the money comes from. I just say, hey, I need a $9 million volleyball facility because my daughter's going to be going to school, and Bud, my lawyer, he gets it done. Or what's the lawyer's name? Is it Bud or Bus or something?
Phil, Billy, Buddy, or Bobby or something.
I feel like it goes like more like, hey, why don't you ring up Wrangler Jeans, tell them we need to run another run of advertisements.
Yeah.
We need a little pocket change.
And then when I'm done doing that ad, I'll rip those jeans off and it'll be a copper tone ad. We'll do a 2-for-1. One day, all Brett Favre.
It's him wearing copper tone over his fucking Wrangler jeans, like peak of comfort and fucking physical ability. Wrangler jeans, copper tone edition.
These Wrangler jeans are breathable, where the copper tone fibers can make my blood pump.
It's Tommy Copper, because if it's just copper tone, we're just looking at more Favre cock. It's just lathered up in a white silky glaze all over his lower region.
Tommy Copper.
Yeah, it's a whole different vision if you're going my direction.
It's like all of my Wrangler jeans pockets are lined with Tommy Copper. And to be taxpayer dollars.
Underneath this copper tone is a Magnum, because I have a big penis, of course. I'm Brett Favre. I endorse this message. And so does the former governor. Yeah, no, it's like his daughter goes to the alma mater, and I think he is trying to, or eventually going to try to play this off of, I had no idea. The way that this was explained to me was this money could be used to build brand new athletic facilities at a university that's struggling financially. It's for the athletes, man. It's for the Division I athletes, a volleyball system at Southern Miss.
He just doesn't strike me as the guy that, I mean, and you can correct me, and I'm sure Alan will, but he just doesn't strike me as the guy that's like, where can we get the money from? Well, Brett, the coffers are kind of dry. I mean, I could pull some strings and, I don't know, take some food stamps out of some single mothers' mouths. We'll do that. He just doesn't strike me as that guy. You know what I mean?
Yeah. No, I'm with you on that one. He seems too dumb. Like, somebody else came up with this plan, and, like, he really didn't know. Or maybe he knew. Maybe fucking Brett Favre is a secret genius, and we have no idea.
Yeah.
But,
well, that text message sure seems like he knew what was going on.
That's what I mean. He blew up my spot there. I didn't see that text message. I read everything else, and I was like, Brett Favre is a dumb ex-quarterback who wants to do good for the community, and yes, his daughter happens to go there, so he's going to try extra hard to make it happen. But did he really know it's coming from welfare?
Right? I don't know.
Yeah,
I mean,
we'll find out.
Does blow it up, really, I guess. We'll find out.
Yeah.
He was basically like, hey, do you think I could use this welfare money on not welfare stuff? And the state will find out? And the person was like, no, you'll be fine. Just do whatever. Just use it on whatever.
But I also read that he paid, like, most of it back except for the interest or something.
Oh. Well, what's the interest on $4 million?
Yeah. Is the juice still running?
I don't know. But I feel like he had paid back almost all of it except for like a few $100,000, but then they found out about it, so it's like, oh shit, and so now it's a big story. I don't know. Does it just seem like ever since he went to the Jets, they've been trying to bury Brett Favre? I mean, yeah, he fucked up. He was banging that sideline reporter or whoever the hell she was.
Unconfirmed. The only thing confirmed is he was sending nudie text messages. Text message strike again.
I think he flashed his hog to like a Telemundo reporter, and she was like, do you see my Colombian ass? Absolutely not, Wrangler jeans.
Hold on.
Get the fuck out of here.
I think it was she was made famous when she was attending Florida State. And then God knows what she was studying, but someone was like, yeah, she's hot. She needs to be a Fox correspondent. I don't know if she was Colombian. I think she was just a really tan white girl. Her name was Jen, with 2 N's.
Yeah, yes, yeah. No, yeah, I don't think she was well, you know what, though? There probably was multiple incidents. I wouldn't put it past him.
Yeah. Speaking of, I don't know if you guys ever heard this. Talking about, like, people perceived as dumb or dumb quarterbacks or dumb football players. Have you ever heard? Do you know who Cooper Manning is?
Yeah.
Okay. So Cooper was being interviewed by someone. I don't know who. It's the New Orleans Business Journal. They asked them about the coming up Peyton-Eli game. This is when Peyton was playing in Denver. Eli was still with the Giants. Like, hey, who you got? Now, have you heard the rant that he went on to the interviewer?
No,
this is unbelievable. This is absolutely great. So, quote, I'm so sick of people treating me like I'm a failure in the Manning family, he said. So my brothers play in the NFL. Whoop-dee-doo shit. There are 32 starting quarterbacks. You know how many partners there are in regional energy investment company of this size? Not 32. I tell you that. We're a division of Associate Bank, goddammit. That shit's international. People think Peyton is smart. continued Cooper, now shouting, "He's a dumbass. Trust me on this. He knows nothing but football. He thinks a good business investment is buying a bunch of fucking Papa John's in the fucking Denver area. And you're going to sit here and condescend to me, a partner at Howard Wheel? You think I'm a failure of the family? Get the fuck out of my office." Bravo.
I like it.
Hell yeah, man. Sit here and fucking...
And Cooper's probably going to go on to be the biggest television personality. He's already hosting a game show. He's on all the commercials. Like, dude, that Manning family is a talented bunch.
Yeah.
I will tell you that right now.
Cooper
Eli.
Cooper would have played Division I. I don't know if he would have gone because he was a wide receiver. But his senior year, he ended up having he got diagnosed with a spinal injury that was somewhat debilitating, so he couldn't play football anymore.
I thought he was a QB too, and he got his neck busted up, and then he couldn't play anymore.
No, he was Peyton threw him the ball. Peyton was a sophomore, he was a senior, and they were they were torching people up in Louisiana.
Man, I'm telling you, man, like those Manning boys. Have you seen the latest where Eli dresses up as like a walk-on for Penn State?
yeah. I have. That is good.
Chad,
that goofy motherfucker. Like, he's just perfect. They're self-aware. I think that's what I appreciate about them. They are self-aware. They know they're goofy fucks, and they run with it. So they're like, no matter what Cooper thinks about his brothers' intellectual abilities, they are all off the charts on marketing ability.
Yeah, this took place like I think 2013. And I have a hunch that at that point he wasn't necessarily like Peyton was wrapping up his Hall of Fame career. Eli was, had a few years left, but two Super Bowls deep. And I think Cooper got pissed off again. Like, you couldn't fucking ask Ted DiBiase about wrestling. I guarantee you, this guy was not to bring up Peyton and Eli. He fucking, fuck you, buying a bunch of fucking Papa John's in Denver.
I know. Okay, Wes, you being the bigger wrestling fan of the three of us, like, could you imagine that? Okay, Jake the Snake is in the other room, but you can only ask him about DDP yoga.
God, that's it's almost impossible, man. It's just I'd have to like go to the drawing board and see if I could ask something metaphorically, like get it.
I can just remember, like, and this is one of those deals, like, hey, Ted DiBiase is going to be calling in for an interview in about 15 minutes, but you can't ask him about the WWF. Then I just remember going, I don't want to do it, Ted. We have to. He's already scheduled. Like, I don't have any questions for him then, so there's no need for us to continue with this.
Ask him,
yeah. What you should have done is you should have got someone in studio, whether it be a co-host or someone from the production side, to say, weirdly enough and coincidentally enough, we got your old manager Virgil in the studio. He's going to ask you a few questions. Hey, Ted, how's it been? How's things going? Remember when I used to take a bunch of beatings for you?
Remember when they pretended to let me wrestle and they let me hold your belt for a day, and then they told me I sucked and I couldn't talk anymore?
I had the gray sleeveless diamond tuxedo with the dollar bills on the trim there. Actually, this is me and a buddy of mine had a really, really good debate about later on in Floyd Mayweather's career. Probably the last like dozen matches or so, his entrances were Showtime. He had the OJs perform Money. No, was it? The OJs did a song called Money, right?
Did they?
I believe so. Yeah. They performed that, and me and my buddy said they ought to do the Ted DiBiase theme and have Ted DiBiase and Virgil walk out with them, and he said no, that they should do the Shane O'Mac theme and have Shane McMahon walk out with him. And we used to ask people, like, what do you think the better entrance is? It was split.
I think that
it was split down the middle.
I think Ted DiBiase, because that's coming out with the $1 million belt, like the $1 million champion, like that's hands down. I think Shane O'Mac's great and all, but iconic. Come on, that's Ted DiBiase.
Alan, what you know the Shane O'Mac theme, right?
Yeah. I I mean, God, that Shane O'Mac theme song is. But see, I think that's my generation a little bit more.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So for me, like, I hear that and I kind of lose my shit. I expect them to jump off a stadium. You know what I mean? So like that, I think that's Shane for me. I think if I'm going to vote,
Okay.
with my heart.
Yeah, and this is
that's a tough one. That's a difficult choice.
I think we need to legit put this up to a poll.
And I'm down with that. And dude, I have the most respect in the universe for Shane O'Mac. I would argue that Shane McMahon is probably a better wrestler all around than Ted DiBiase ever was. But Ted DiBiase was a showman. And if you get the Ted DiBiase theme coming out, you're getting not just my generation, Alan's generation, you're getting previous generations. Like, you're getting your dad's generation, Wes. You know what I mean? Like, you're getting this wide berth, and everybody's going to think that's awesome. But, like, again, somebody like your dad's going to be like, who's this guy? Who's this 40-year-old guy?
I can almost guarantee you that if either one of those people walked out with Floyd Mayweather during the fight, my father would have been like, what is this bullshit? Why can't they just walk to the goddamn ring and fucking box?
Yeah.
It's goddamn circus out here.
Yeah, that's true. Well, dude, there was one entrance I remember that Tyson did. No music, head towel, black shorts, walk out, entourage. No, nobody says a goddamn thing. That's got to be fucking intimidating as shit.
Yeah, when we ain't got no.
But then again,
no
Floyd's not intimidating, so he's got to do some pageantry.
Yeah.
Well, we're gonna put it to a poll. We're gonna put it to a poll. Let me see if I can get some good pictures. Maybe even like I don't know if I can embed like a player that has a little bit, because both of them have that. But Ted DiBiase, money, 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 and then Shane O'Mac like, but must be the money, something like that.
I think it's here
comes the money. What's must be the money? Isn't that a rap song?
Must be the money.
Must be the money.
It's the Nelly song. It's a Nelly song.
Yeah.
Okay. You drummed up something in my head, though. What could make wrestling great again? What needs to happen in wrestling to make it great again?
Well, we need to Men in Black the entire wrestling community and make them believe it's real again.
Yeah, but even during the Attitude Era began with the Montreal Screwjob, where Vince told everybody that it was sports entertainment. And that was the zenith of wrestling. So the zenith of wrestling happened post admitting it's fake.
Yeah. I don't think that Alan, correct me if I'm wrong, because I don't watch a lot. I don't watch much of it anymore. I heard about this.
It's not good.
Even if it was good, I'm not gonna watch it. But here's the thing.
What if it was good?
I don't think it's one singular thing. I think there's a lot. Dial back the pay-per-views. I get it. That makes a lot of money, but you have them one a month. You're killing your talent. Bring back some jobbers. Don't have people have high and lows because with the jobbers, you can segue into this. You have guys who are like contending for a fucking Intercontinental title, and then 3 months later they're getting beat every week on Raw. Let these guys write their own stuff. Apparently Vince edits and writes and has to see now not Vince, but he used to be able to he had to basically vet every person's vignette or talking sequence. They're not actors. I know they are kind of actors, but there was a human element when someone could get out there and just kind of spitball and go with it. Not everything has to be an aerial high fly act. An armbar works every now and then. A sunset flip. When's the last time you saw a sunset flip? Do you even know what that is? It's not a flower. I'll tell you that. It's a wrestling move.
Yeah. Yeah, I think you're probably right, though. That's probably most of it. And, honestly, the best wrestling out of the WWE these days is the women. The women's division is, top notch. They're all fucking great wrestlers and actually funner to watch. But I think you're right. I think a lot of it's writing, too.
Okay.
The writing for all of the big characters is just awful.
I think they should embrace social media, start beefs online, and make it fucking seem real. Because I think people will believe it if people are talking shit on Twitter and Facebook and all that stuff, and then you'll tune in to see what they say to each other's face. Oh, you're a big man talking online. What you got to say now?
Didn't they
And
do
then-
that with Flair's last match? It was supposed to be like some sort of like thing, and then Jeff Jarrett and Jay Lethal beat him up in a parking lot, and they got it on like a camera phone or a phone, and then a camera phone, a flip phone, 8-pixel No, they got it on like someone filmed it on their phone, and then those two gave, like, Jay Lethal was like, I respected him, I loved him, he was an icon to me. And he talks down to me in the parking lot, tells me I'm some hack. The vignette and the lead up and the way the beat down in the parking lot when Flair bladed it was still real to me. Damn it, it was still real at that point. They made an old 73-year-old fucking wrestler and a couple veterans of the game, Jeff Jarrett included, brought heat into like this 2-week window. Heat can still be made, if that makes sense.
Yeah. I guess I just maybe those guys like Steve Austin, Dwayne Johnson, fucking Kurt Angle, like the behind the scenes stuff, quote unquote behind the scenes, like when they went into the locker room and stuff.
Yeah.
Do you remember when Steve Austin bought everybody cowboy hats and then he gave Kurt Angle like the little kids like fucking like, and Kurt Angle just went with it.
Yeah.
Like, that was fucking brilliant. It was funny. It was stupid. It was hilarious. And then they go out and they put on, like, a performance like you've never seen before.
Yeah.
I don't know. It just feels like wrestling's lost something. Like, there's just something. And I miss it. Marie and I used to watch 3 hours of Raw when we first got together. Like, my God, you want to know why I married that woman? Because every Monday night, she would come over and we would sit on the couch and drink beer and watch Raw. Like that I don't know, man. That was living.
That's what you should have asked that guy in that parking lot. Hey, man, do you want to come over and watch Raw with me and my wife? Get you out of this parking lot. Get you out of those knee pads.
You know what's not a disaster? The state of professional wrestling. I think he would have took you up on that.
Just let the creatives be creative. I guess that's the point. Find creative. There's how many wannabe professional wrestlers out there? I'm sure there's a lot of them that are really good on the mic. So don't take them out of their element. Let the creatives be creative.
I agree. And speaking of creative, here we go. Good old James Cameron revealed, and I don't know why. When did Avatar come out? 08, 09?
It was at least 10 years, and more than 10 years ago now.
Yeah, and are they? This story has to do with James Cameron butting heads. Fuck, I don't know, man. I must have listened to fucking.
That's his wrestling persona.
That's right.
Cameron.
Here comes the Cameron. Revealed it was an interview with the New York Times that he was butting heads with 20th Century Fox over key sequences of Avatar. I don't know. My question is, are they putting this out because Avatar 2 is going to be coming out here soon? Avatar is going to be hitting IMAX theaters here soon. Then Avatar 2 is supposed to be coming out. That thing is supposed to have been coming out like the last 6 or 7 years. Anyway, the producers over there told him you need to trim some scenes. They didn't like the scenes needed to be shorter, and there was too much flying around on the Ikran, what the humans called the Banshees. Well, it turns out the audience loved that the most, and Cameron was later quoted as saying, "You know what? This building we're meeting in right now, this new $500 million building complex you're in right now, Titanic paid for that, so I get to do this." Hey, man. Bravo, because I don't know. There is something called Final Cut Authority, meaning someone on set, whether it be producer, director, owner, a production company, has final say on what goes into this. And my guess is that it wasn't James Cameron on this; it was 20th Century Fox. So he got a boner and said, "Get the hell on out of here, go that way, go that way."
Yeah, this comes down. Let the creatives be creative. I know what entertainment is. You know why? Because I make it. So if you want to fucking continue to enjoy the fruits of my fucking labor,
right,
you get to shut the fuck up and give me your goddamn dollar bills. Deal? Deal. Now buy me a $400,000 camera and I'll be on my way.
I mean, it's clearly on a much smaller scale, but This is vaguely, not even vaguely. This is extremely reminiscent of how I operate at work. I'm like, oh, do you want someone who sells millions of dollars a year? Then shut the fuck up and let me do what I want to do. Do you want to reap the rewards that I bring you? Shut up. Leave me alone.
Yeah. You give me Leo and you give me fucking Kathy Bates and Billy Zane.
Billy Zane.
Oh, okay. Kathy Bates was in that. I was just saying, I was like, Kathy Bates never looked like Kate Winslet.
Kate Winslet. Yeah.
The wrestling version.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's weird though, because again, I'm wondering why this is being released now, and I guess it just has something to do with, again, creating some heat.
I'm willing to bet that Avatar 2 is now in the cutting room process, and somebody at 20th Century or 21st Century Fox is like, I don't know. I don't think this is going to stand up to the last film. And to get out of it, to kind of like put all the responsibility on James Cameron. It's like, whatever's coming out is all on James. We had nothing to do with it because he wouldn't let us. Because here was the big temper tantrum he threw back in 2008. And so we're not allowed to have any notes on the movie. It's all James's. So if it flops, it's all on Cameron. But if it's a success, it's all on 20th Century Fox because we let him do what he wanted.
Right. Let me play devil's advocate for a minute, and you can agree or disagree. So the people who came to him and said, hey, we want you to trim some fat on this film. It's too long. We need to get rid of some things. Here's this. The way the story portrays it is these are just a bunch of like fucking bullshit hacks from 20th Century Fox who know dick about it. When in fact, these people could have been involved in the production of some really good films, who have made some suggestions about some really quality things that turned out to be, the right move. Who's to say, huh?
Well, would you like me to define producer for you? Producer is the person who has a giant bank account and would like to recoup the money that they invest in a film. Mm-hmm. And they think that they're creative or they think that they have some say in the creative process because they bought the thing. Okay. Whereas they may very well be some very creative individuals, but they're not directors. They don't work in the film industry other than to hand out checks and to stand in the production room and look over somebody's shoulder and give notes. But beyond that, that's all they're good for. Now, some of them, like if you or I or Alan had a shit ton of money, we might have some good ideas on a movie, and you might want to listen to them. Or we could just be some shitbag trust fund assholes who have a crap ton of money, and we want to tell people how to make something so that we can say like, oh, you see that scene? I told him to make it like that. Hey, you see, watch this. Here's the edit. That was me. I did that. I cut it right there. Yeah, that was a good scene. I loved it. Yeah, you should love it too.
So you're saying these are like owners of sports teams who think they can evaluate talent and it could make trade suggestions, right?
Yes. These are Jerry Jones 2000 on. That's who these people are.
Gotcha. Alan, what producer thought it was a great idea to make, and I was chuckling in the bathroom thinking about this today, that made Gary Busey a role model father figure in Rookie of the Year?
A fucking genius, that's who. It's probably the same guy that fucking greenlit Titanic at the end of the day. Hey, I don't know about you, but that's a fucking move for the ages. When I think American father figure, I think Gary Busey. Mm-hmm. I don't know about you guys.
Do you think like James Cameron slapping himself, doing a Harvey Whippleman? There's another wrestling reference on the back.
At this point, I just picture James Cameron rolling up to set in like a pink Range Rover with like a pink fur. Right. Fucking Cameron, like circa 2003.
Yeah.
Like
Hey Ma playing through the subwoofers.
Yeah. Hey Ma.
But James Cameron giving himself a pat on the back, that same producer was like, hey man, I mean, they were against it. They were against Busey being the pitcher and the love interest of the main character's mom. I pushed that through. I swayed the needle on that one.
Yeah. Do you see how America calls Gary Busey their father now? That was me. So fuck off, studio.
Have I told you guys the story about the spider? Superman lives the spider in Wild Wild West with Will Smith.
With Will Smith and Calvin Klein.
Wait, what? What is
okay. So there was going to be post Batman, the second Batman movie with Michael Keaton, Batman Returns. They were going to do a Superman movie, and this was right around the time that they did the comic book arc where Superman dies and then he comes back to life and all that jazz. Well, they were going to get Nick Cage to do that movie, and Nick Cage was going to be Superman, and he was going to die, and he was going to come back to life. And Kevin Smith was the one who wrote the entire the treatment for the movie, and he was starting to write the script, and then he had to meet with the main producer, the guy who gave the most money to have the film made. And the guy wanted a giant spider in the movie. And Kevin Smith looked at him and said, Superman's never fought a giant spider. Like, what are you talking about? He's like, well, that guy Brainiac that you have in the movie that you wrote in here, why don't you just have him become a spider? And he's like, I don't fucking know what you're talking about, man. Like, that doesn't make any sense. Like, in the DC comic universe, like, there's no spider. Like, I'm not doing it. So he fired Kevin Smith. He got the next writer. The next writer wrote the entire story around Superman fighting a fucking spider, and it was shit. And Tim Burton, who was signed on to direct it, was like, I'm not making this fucking movie. Well, so finally, after spending hundreds of millions of dollars just in pre-production, they scrap it, and then the same producer makes Wild Wild West. And at the end of Wild Wild West, the stagecoach becomes a giant spider. He got his fucking spider. That's what producers do. That's what producers do.
See, if this director had any wits about him, what would have happened is Nick Cage would have died, gotten buried. Michael Keaton would have been, and then when he came back, it would have been Gary Busey as Superman. Alan?
Yeah, I mean, what? Millions. Billions, maybe. Billions, I think, with a B.
Maybe as Bizarro Superman or something.
Nope. That's everyone's favorite Superman.
I'm back.
Imagine if you get all that toothy grin.
Yeah.
With jet black hair and some fucking thick rimmed glasses.
Yeah. I'm Clark Kent.
You know what? You know what death stands for? Don't ever ask teachers for help. That's what death stands for.
Yep. Could you imagine?
No, where's this fucking spider?
Where's this fucking spider?
All right. Let's expand our brains and get into some OMG facts.
That's right, my friends. It's officially time for Fun Fact Friday, brought to you, of course, by the Shit and Splints Recovery Group. I don't know if I'm prepared for this, but would you guys like me to sing an intro, or should we just go into it raw and dry?
Yeah, I don't think I have anything. You know what's weird? I was actually dreaming that I was singing one to you, or we were kind of serenading each other, and I don't remember what songs we were singing. It certainly wasn't Cameron, and it
should have been.
Yeah, it wasn't the $1 Million Man or Shane O'Mac theme. So let's raw dog it.
All right, I'm disappointed, and so's our fan.
All right,
so here you go.
The Hulk Hogan theme then.
Oh, what?
Okay.
You bitched about it, motherfucker.
I know. When you need some knowledge, but you're empty inside. I'll get some fun facts from my calendar and let you know why. I don't know how they're good. I don't know if they're right. But at the end of the day, you'll have some. Fuck you, OMG facts. Let's get to it. Fun Fact Friday. I'm sorry. I couldn't seal the deal.
That's all right.
I do apologize.
There is Dude Love, a.k.a. Cactus Jack McFoley, had a great finisher called Sweet Shin Music, where he'd kick you in the shin.
Yeah.
We should send that to the Shin Splints Recovery Group.
Should.
God, Mick Foley was there you go. A guy who had really no physical ability except for the pain threshold that was within his fucking nervous system.
Yeah.
God damn if he wasn't entertaining.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I could watch him getting chucked off the top of a steel cage by The Undertaker. I think I see it once a month. Just to hear Jerry Lawler, Jim Ross, but Jerry Lawler breaks character. He goes, "Oh God, oh, he's dead. He's dead.
He's dead. He's dead. Oh my God, he killed him." Let's get to it. 5 fun facts for you fuckers on a Friday. Did you know there are at least 100,000 chemical reactions going on in the normal human brain every second?
Oof. What do you think? How many are going on with that guy you crossed paths with today at that parking lot?
Right?
At least 2.
100,000 chemical reactions. I wonder
economy and government conspiracy.
I mean, obviously you're gonna get some ebbs and flows, but like, what would something like drinking coffee do? I mean, would that kick it from 50,000 to 100? Does something like caffeine just double the reaction?
I don't know, but there's definitely a change. Like I have this superfood like green powder leafy greens mix that I take in the morning, and within 5 minutes I'm like, there's something happening here. I don't know what they put in this. I read the back. There's a bunch of like coffee extracts and shit like that. I'm like, I'm definitely operating on a new there's an update happening in my mind right now that I don't know if I can control.
Wait, what was the fact again? Can you reread it?
There's 100,000 chemical reactions going on in the human brain every second.
That sounds right.
But it makes you wonder at a more existential level, like, what is consciousness? Are we just like chemical reactions that are a little too high for our fucking little too big for our britches? Like, are we just a bunch of fucking like biology that's happening and we just think that something more is going on?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. Definitely. 100%.
Yeah.
We definitely think we're way cooler than we are. We're not that cool.
That's what they tell you.
Pretty cool.
Like
we're okay cool.
That's why
we're top of the food chain cool.
I mean, I guess.
We also have the most mental health illness. Cool.
We ain't top of the food chain if we're in an ocean. Like,
well, yes, but no. Okay, was it last week or the week before, like with those fucking cruise liners? Let me tell you something. If I'm able to rock fucking climb in the middle of the Atlantic, I'd say I'm at the highest end of the food chain there. There's some shark fucking swimming around, bouncing.
I mean, you are at the high end, but
yeah.
At what cost? What is the cost of rock climbing in the middle of the Atlantic?
I think it's only like $500 a cruise.
I mean, that's fair.
Yeah, and with the amount of food and booze you eat, there's a lot more than 100,000 chemical
Carnival
reactions.
cruise for $500 is probably like all inclusive too.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think we might just be flying too close to the sun. Is all.
And if the movie Waterworld has taught us anything, if it were to hit the fan, we'd still be top of the food chain.
Well, it also teaches you that your urine is sterile and you can drink it.
Yeah. And you know what? The producer of that obviously is missing fucking Gary Busey and a big spider.
That was that producer has been since like 1967 trying to get a Waterworld movie made. Like he pitched it at like the first fucking Ghostbusters. He's like, what if we just flood the world?
Yeah.
And then wouldn't have any ghosts, but Ghostbusters could handle it. And they were like, that doesn't make any sense, sir.
They don't.
Here's an extra.
Go ahead.
Here's an extra fun fact about Waterworld. It actually did make all of its money back. It's just it was such a high budget film that making its money back wasn't good enough. So it actually it was not a flop by the technical standpoint. It just didn't make the studio a shit ton of money like it was supposed to.
Yeah.
Well, maybe sometimes you got to take those producers' word for it. Gary Busey and water spiders. If you saw that, there'd be more than 100,000 chemical reactions going on.
Your
head might blow up. And if Gary Busey played the spider, fuck, Jesus.
Holy shit.
I could feel my teeth growing. It's just so good.
I was getting ready to say the webs would come out of his mouth. Did you know a 19th century costume designer invented the horned Viking helmet?
So we've been
That sounds about right.
We've been lied to about the Vikings and the helmets.
Yes.
Wow.
Yeah.
100%.
Probably.
Yeah. Wasn't a thing. Vikings would not have randomly worn giant horned helmets. It's just some imagery bullshit that some guy came up with. That's it.
Fictitiously, we need to make these people seem, if we retell history, as savages, which
Yes.
they were.
And what
but-
would it?
Yeah. What would a
Yeah.
savage wear?
Well,
Yeah.
they had very established societies. I don't know that they were savage, but
Well.
that's my point. Look,
Pretty savage.
Look, white people will write even other white people as weird, and they give them horned helmets if they so see fit. They're like, look at those weird white people. We're gonna call them Vikings. Look at them. Look at them. They fucking don't. They wear leather clothes and pray to fucking forest gods. Weird.
Well, apparently the Vikings were fucking tripping balls all the time, and they would fucking like the berserker bullshit. Like they would get high on mushrooms and then just fucking pump each other up and just go into battle, fucking pupils blazing.
Yeah.
Yeah. Do you imagine just swinging bladed fucking weapons all zooted on mushrooms? It's probably a fucking ride, man.
And descendants, obviously, of Randy Macho Man Savage, so it doesn't shock me one bit. I mean, that guy was fucking nuts all the time.
Yeah, the cream always rises to the top.
Well, like all the guys who were winning the fucking thank you. Well, oh yeah. Standing there with his fucking coffee cup, like. If you haven't watched that interview, that is the most cocaine-induced interview that Gene Okerlund has ever been a part of. Holy
I've got a sticker
shit,
of it on my water bottle. I'll send it to you guys. It's good.
No, but like all the guys, like Magnus Magnuson, all those guys from like Iceland and Greenland and shit, they were all winning the World's Strongest Man competitions, and they're all straight Viking descendants. The Mountain from Game of Thrones.
Yeah.
That guy's name's like Thor.
Yeah, it's something crazy.
Yeah, he's
that's
like
a
6'9", 410", I think is his measurements. At least
Yeah.
build height and build weight. Sometimes this can be exaggerated.
It didn't look like it.
No.
And like that's straight Viking blood right there.
Yeah.
Fucking filled up on psilocybin and rage and testosterone.
Yeah.
Did you know, due to the lack of... I'm sorry. Start over. Did you know, due to the amount of mercury in Lake Michigan, more than 40% of fish are born autistic and don't survive past the first year?
Wow, 40%. That seems drastic. They need to get
America's waterways.
Well, I just like in the last like 30 years, we started like diagnosing humans as autistic. Like, who's doing the autistic fish study?
That is got to be one of the most obscure government grants you can ask for. Like, listen, I'm going to need $1 million to study whether or not fish from this lake here are autistic. Like,
How do you tell? Are they counting krill? Like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 9,
Yeah.
12, or 25 krill, and then they don't even eat them.
Right. How
No, they actually don't eat them.
and you said that, and they don't live past a certain point for the most part. What are they?
They don't live the first year. They die before the first year.
Is that just because they just don't have natural instincts to avoid danger or things like that?
I would assume, I don't know what all of the like presenting features of autism are, but apparently it's present in fish. I mean, like, and I'm not mocking, but like, obviously, autistic children need more parental care.
Yeah.
And I don't think the fish community is necessarily down with like
Right.
following their young around to make sure they're eating.
Yeah. They just a seagull swoops in, and
Yeah, a lot of nature doesn't make a lot of accommodations. It's kind of lets things happen.
40%. I wonder, and Christ, man, I've never read anything about whether or not fishing, catching, eating fish in Lake Michigan is mercury based. You know,
I'm just at a point where like they always talk shit about like farm bred fish, but at this point in human history, doesn't that seem to be like the most like clean fish that you could get? I mean, I know they say when you go out to like
Alaska, Canada,
Alaska,
yeah,
where shit's flowing south and there's not a lot of like pollution going on. Like, yeah, okay, I can see that being healthy. But anything else,
there's parts of the Mississippi River where you can go and turn your boat engine on and fucking carp fly up in the air. And they have competitions to see how many people can fucking beat as many to death as they possibly can because they're invasive and they want them out of the waterways. With the idea being that they don't want them navigating north to Lake Michigan. Now, I'm fucking convinced that they've done that. And the natural resource director of either Illinois or one of the neighboring states just hasn't said shit. Now, that doesn't play into the mercury level and the autistic fish that are swimming around getting gobbled up. No wonder these seagulls are so prominent around there. Eating them all alive.
Interesting.
Did you know?
You didn't know, did you?
Nope.
Black pepper was once so valuable that it was used as currency.
Damn. Where, in like India? Some crazy country like that?
Sounds like all over the world. But even as random as that fact sounds, it actually seems more sound than what we're doing. Like I've really, I mean, I know that I'm not going to affect the global economy here, but like in recent years, I've really become like, what the fuck is money worth? Like, why is it worth this? Like, what's the fucking point? It's just we say it's valuable, so it is. Like, how's that work? At least black pepper, like, all right, our global supply of black pepper is really low. It's hard to get. Marco ain't going to be back for 4.5 months. So this is what we got. If you want some, I'm going to need like 40 goats. What do you say? Like, that makes more sense to me.
I mean, we've outgrown our bridges on that. Like, people can't, with the amount of people that we have on Earth, there can't be like a stronghold of, 1 million people out of 7 billion that have, the black pepper stronghold, and then goats, and then horses, things like that. I mean, it would be chaos. There'd be Vikings and Gary Busey's fucking taking everything. Yeah. And Hollywood would blow up. They couldn't make movies anymore.
No, but like if we went to a barter society, the farmers would prevail, right?
Farmers or small farmers, or someone who had like arms dealers.
That's true.
The arms and or ammo. Trying to think of a few other like clean water.
Yeah, and all the financiers would be fucked because they have nothing to trade but pretend money.
Yeah. Well, we'll load up with pepper pellets and shoot them.
Not a bad idea.
I get the idea. Like, hey, look, check this out. This is coriander and peppercorns. Watch this. Now eat that piece of chicken. Holy moly, that's delicious. I would like to buy some of that from you. All right, what do you got? Yeah.
Oh well, I got a bunch of paper.
Got these leather straps. Have some of those. Turn them into whatever.
Yeah. Like, yeah, like that makes more sense to me than what we're doing now. But, I'm fucked either way because I've got nothing to barter. And I don't really have a whole lot in the bank, so it doesn't matter.
I got this movie script that involves a spider. Been trying to sell it for a long time, but...
Because the manuscript involves a giant spider in a water world. Think it's going to be a real hit.
And finally, did you know, before developing video games, Nintendo owned, quote, love hotels. Private short-stay rooms that were used for sexual encounters.
Wow. Nintendo was shacking up hoo-ha houses. Really?
Yeah. And they also, in those hoo-ha houses, they had this little game they like to call cards. Nintendo is the first producer of a 52 card deck. And that makes them the oldest game producer in the world.
Damn. That's kind of wild.
Yeah. So they've been doing this shit for a minute. It ain't just like, it didn't start in the 80s.
Yeah. Well, I was going to ask when, Nintendo's out of Japan. When were they doing these love shacks?
I don't know. I would assume.
Yeah, and
have the
B-52s asked for royalties?
Yes. I would assume the samurai probably they're roaming around town, fucking cutting people in half for you. You probably gotta have a little place for them to blow off some steam.
Wait. You're saying the Nintendo Corp dates back to fucking samurais?
I'm gonna say yes with no confidence at all.
Alan's out on the case, so I'm gonna make sure.
Yeah, I'm just looking at this. It looks like till the 60s.
Okay.
Did this 50s and 60s.
The 1950s and 60s?
Yeah.
I mean, so you had a samurai who was in a suit, He didn't have your classic armor from Genghis Khan era,
Yeah, you guys really went back. I mean, I'm sure there were fucking love shacks in samurai time. I'm just saying.
Hold on. Nintendo Kuranta. Formerly Nintendo Kuranta, 1889. That's when they were founded, in 1889. Nintendo? Yeah.
Okay.
1889 by craftsman and originally produced handmade playing cards and ventured into a different line of business in the 1960s. How the fuck did they stay around for 100 years before switching over to video games? Whorehouses. That's how. That's the answer.
It's right. The Kennedys fucking got their money with booze. Nintendo, whorehouses, man. It's not all fun and games. People make their money every now and then,
Look, sometimes you got to get dirty money to make clean money.
That's right. Yeah.
Happens.
And that, my friends, is your Fun Fact Friday.
All right.
That's a good fact.
On your first installment of Before You Go, because we're going to have two, and there's a surprise second one. Just you wait. Anyway, the first installment comes out of our friends from across the pond in England. A woman, her name was Amanda Gommo, Gommo, ended up in the hospital for 3 days after she woke up from her nap to find her daughter's dog, a Chihuahua, had pooed on her face. So the 51-year-old mom of three was snoozing with her mouth open in the dog doo-doo accident, causing some to get in her mouth. So she woke up. She barfed, then later on profusely vomited. Weirdly enough, later on, after they talked about all these medical problems she was having, it was in the next to last paragraph, says she suffers from diverticulitis gastrointestinal infection, something like that. So I was that you could have done that in the beginning. That may have answered a few of my questions. But yeah, she wound up in the hospital. They had the IV drip, pun intended. Your thoughts on, and then she forgave the Chihuahua. She said, I still love him. I'm going to have to watch where I take a nap from here on out.
Yeah.
Your thought on, let me see if I can get, I think it might have been Bella. What the hell's the dog?
I'm sure it was.
Bella.
I'm sure
Bella.
It was a Chihuahua named fucking Bella.
Bella, that's right. And it pooped in Grandma's mouth.
Alan, I'm gonna let you start because I got words.
I mean, what kind of dog was it?
Chihuahua.
Fucking dicks. They're the worst kind of dog, honestly.
True.
I mean, I feel like this is just bad luck, right? Like, I mean, I'm fucking a Chihuahua up when I wake up. Like, it's probably frowned upon what I would do to the Chihuahua pooping on me, but like, where was I sleeping? Was I just on the couch? Did it get on top of me? There's a lot of questions I got.
She was taking an afternoon nap in her daughter's what do they call apartments? A flat. On the couch with the mouth open. Yeah.
I don't know, man. People are in some weird shit.
Listen. As a dog owner, like hypothetically, I could lay in the dog's motherfucking bed, drunk with my mouth wide the fuck open, snoring. If that motherfucker poops in my mouth, all dogs go to heaven is going to be the least of this goddamn dog's worry.
I don't know. That might be a little far because, like, think about it. If you fell asleep drunk, passed out in my bed with your mouth, I might poop in your mouth. So, like, I feel like if you pass out in a dog's bed, it can poop in your mouth. You probably deserve a little bit of that. But like on the couch, just living your human life, that dog had to. And it's a Chihuahua. Like, it's not like it was a fucking like Great Dane that like took a shit and it just I just so happened to be under it.
Right.
Like the Chihuahua had to like get into position.
That's my point.
Yeah, like it knew.
You ever seen a dog poop? Like they gotta do a quick circle. They gotta get on that weird back arch thing where like the front paws are touching the back paws. Like there's a lot going on there. Like she's a heavy.
I got pooped on by the dog we live with.
Where?
Sarah's dog on my arm. It was laying all across my chest on the IKEA chair, and then fucking shot one on my forearm.
Yeah, I punched that dog.
Oh, I punched it, and then I went to I was dry heaving for like a few seconds. And Sarah was like, "Get over yourself." I was like, "I beg your fucking pardon." Your dog.
She'd have gotten the poop thrown at her.
Your dog just pooped on my fucking arm. And it's funny. Later on that night, we were telling a buddy of ours, Joe, and he didn't catch that it was a dog, and he thought that I pooped on Sarah. I was like, yeah, I wouldn't be telling you this story in conjunction with her here if I had pooped on her. We'd be broken up. It's like wouldn't there would be no coming back from that. So I mean, listen, I'm not saying I was asleep and the dog pooped in my mouth. It's slightly similar, I guess.
I don't know, man. I don't know. I hope that this story is as cut and dry as it is, because I know some people are in some weird shit, man. Like, pun intended.
Yeah.
Like, I could just see Grammy being like, "Oh, Bella. Oh, you got a poopy? A poopy right here." And then she didn't realize the consequences of her fucking sick fetish actions. And I don't know, man. It just seems odd that a dog has enough time to not. Some got in her mouth. I mean, dogs don't really have like bullseye with their shits. My dog's getting old. My dog happens to be a Chihuahua. We got to put the puppy pads down every night. We got to put 3 down in like the dining room area and 2 down in the living room area. And she is good about like hitting the pad, but the pad is also 2 feet by 2 feet. Okay. We're talking about like 4 square feet here of a landing pad. And sometimes she misses. So the fact that this dog was able to hit a bullseye, I don't know. Grammy just seems like she might be into some kinky fucking weird shit, if you're asking me.
Crohn's disease is what she suffers from. Now,
okay,
like that may be a weird,
that's inconsequential. Like, no, you fucking dry heaved because there was shit in your mouth. Period. Full stop. End of story. You dry heaved because the dog shit on your fucking arm. Imagine if it made its way onto your fucking tongue. That's a whole different ball game.
Yeah.
So maybe it was innocent. I kind of thought at first blush that Grammy might be. Look, man, old ladies, they get a little dried up. They need a little something to grease the wheels a little bit. You know what I'm saying?
You think old Grammy Gamo got into some dog poop fetishes, huh?
Potentially. I mean, there is a video. One of the most shared videos of all time, and
Right.
2 girls, 1 cup, and not a lot of that poop makes it to a cup.
Alan, according to my sources, the movie version of this, the producer wants Cheech Marin to be the voice of the Chihuahua. Your thoughts?
I mean, that makes perfect sense. Mexican Americans. He just sings that song as a little Chihuahua.
Yeah.
And good to go.
Or they were going to get the guy who did the voice for, was it the Taco Bell, the Keto Taco Bell? Remember?
Yeah.
Right.
I think it's either Cheech or Luis Guzman. You really got to go all out. You know, you got to get a high end Latino actor.
You inadvertently brought something up that I never really thought about.
Luis Guzman.
That character, that Chihuahua, that Yo quiero Taco Bell, like that was, if we want to do the math, the first casualty of cancel culture.
Was it?
Yeah. They deemed that culturally insensitive and pulled the ad campaign from the market. That could be the first canceled character in the history of cancel culture.
Was it pulled because of stereotypes?
Yeah.
I mean, that seems weird, right? It's a Mexican dog about a Mexican, Tex-Mex restaurant.
You're really giving them. You're really giving them some fucking a long leash there, if you will.
Voiced by a fucking Mexican guy.
Yeah, that guy made.
Seems
That guy,
like
think about that. Like they stole money out of that Mexican man's mouth. He was doing just fine, fucking like doing that accent, fucking talking for a dog.
that guy did just fine for himself either way.
Made tens of thousands of dollars. And then, he went to sleep and his dog pooped in his mouth.
And it tasted just like Taco Bell.
That guy, I'm pretty sure that's the guy fucking from Reno 911. It's Carlos Alazraqui or whatever. He's fucking the voice of literally like a million different things. I don't know how he lost that gig. It's kind of whack. He's Rocco from Rocco's Modern Life.
Oh, wow. Shit.
Yeah. Just put that in your pipe. And
all the best to Amanda Gamo. I hope she still loves Bella, and the 51-year-old seems to be okay. But goddamn, that's disgusting. And she said she still loves him. Whether or not that's to be the case, we'll do a follow-up story to see if she hasn't fucking...
That shit is gross.
Yeah, Randy savaged it. So, Alan, our surprise 2-part before you go.
Yeah. So, it's a little bit of sad news, unfortunately. I had to break this news to you, Mur. But only because I know how stellar we are at our in memoriams. The late, great rapper Coolio has left this earth at the age of 59. His manager announced today. Coolio, that's right.
What?
Gangster's Paradise.
Fantastic Voyage.
Gangster's Paradise. That song from the movie with Michelle Pfeiffer. I think it's Gangster's Paradise.
Slide,
slippity slide. Yeah.
Got something brand new for that ass. Yeah, she has a really good song with Rods. He was on the Space Jam soundtrack with Method Man, Busta, LL, Be Real. Yeah, what's that? High, hit 'em high, hit 'em high, hit 'em high.
How did I miss this? I'm usually straight up to date on this bullshit.
Yeah, he just told me like in the last break.
Yeah.
Coolio, whose real name was Artis Leon Ivy Jr., born August 1st, 1963, grew up in Compton.
Was Coolio Hart. Didn't he have like after Fantastic Voyage? He had that song that was kind of like a little melodramatic, slower.
Yeah, maybe. I don't really know. I don't really know a whole lot of Coolio bangers besides Gangster's Paradise and the theme song to Kenan and Kel.
You know Fantastic Voyage.
Well, yeah. That's true. I do know that.
Hold on, I'm gonna dig this one up.
Well, and if you think back to it, man, Snick, like Saturday Night Nick, they had top class fucking theme songs. They had Coolio for Kenan and Kel. I think they had TLC do all that.
Yeah, there was a time where the intro to a show was like paramount to the show's success.
That's true.
Hold on. got it. No, I don't have it. You son of a bitch. Ugh.
Oh, well, Coolio. Well, the thing about Coolio, the thing that will live in infamy as far as his reputation is concerned is his lack of a sense of humor when it came to Weird Al Yankovic. Because Weird Al did the fucking Amish Paradise, and like Coolio fucking took umbrage with that. And it's like, dude, he's going to make your song go platinum again by making a funny song about it. Let it ride, Holmes. Let it ride.
Yeah.
And he never gave up those cornrows. I remember in his latter years, I think he was on like one of those like VH1 like celebrity house shows or whatever.
Can I share my screen?
Yeah.
By the way, the song I was thinking of is called "I Remember."
I don't know that.
You don't remember that? Fair enough.
But I just remember he even once he lost all of his hair, he still let the side hair like grow out, and he had like these fucking antennae. There he is. That's amazing.
It's like, I'm fucking old now. Look at this tattoo I have on my head.
It's just like he smoked so much weed it burnt a fucking race strip down the middle.
Yeah, look at this fucking guy.
Yeah, God.
He died young? Is that what you're telling me?
Well, no. What did he say? 58?
59. That's fairly young. Youngish.
Young these days. Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
Rest in peace.
Rest in peace, Coolio.
Rest in peace, your little Coolio heart. Right.
Yeah.
We'll bang the 3 or 4 songs that we know tomorrow on our way to work.
Yeah. I mean, I'll still have like 10 more songs to play to get there, but I'll play those 2 songs.
I will send you one. He's got a good song with Razkaz. I don't know if you know that rapper.
Yeah, send me that shit.
All right. It's
send
called...
send us all your Coolio stuff.
I'll send you my entire album collection. Alan, tell the little fellers and all the little federaletts and all the canceled Chihuahua dog voiceovers where you can find the middle classholes.
Oh, you can find us on all your favorite social media platforms. We're at MDL Classholes on Instagram and Twitter. We're the Middle Classholes on Facebook and TikTok. And of course, for your listening pleasures, please check us out on Google Podcasts, Apple Podcasts, and Spotify. And last but not least, please email us. I don't think we could probably just close the email box down now, right?
Yeah, it's pretty much done.
Nobody emails us at tickleourtummies@gmail.com. I think maybe they're turned off by the email.
Well, hey, we're going to put out a poll. We're going to figure out what the better Floyd Mayweather theme entrance would have been, and they're going to email us. God damn it!
Yeah, that'd be good.
Yeah, that's a recipe for success.
It's poop in my mouth. Add a little cumin. Let's get out of here.
Just can't, like, I wish a boxer would come out to like the Blues Clues theme song. You know what I mean? Like something very like inconspicuous.
Like the Crank Yankers theme.
Yeah, there you
go. Come on, cause we're having a ball.
Yeah,
We're
just that, and then
fun.
just walking out like
I'm ready to fuck someone up tonight.
I'm boxing.
Yeah, that's right. All right, folks, we'll see you next week. Don't know what we have on the horizon. Something. But
might get washed away in a hurricane.
That's right. Hey, actually, safety and my thoughts with anyone down in the Florida area.